Motormouth Jenkins here, welcoming you to our brand new YouTube channel. Hope that you'll come back and see every segment each and every week, and I will share preventative maintenance tips and regularly scheduled maintenance tips for your car. So whether you know a little bit about your car or absolutely nothing, this is the channel just for you, where I share over 35 years of experience as a qualified and licensed service technician with truck and coach, light truck and passenger vehicles. Come back and visit us and tell your friends, and we'll see you each and every week right here in the Car Connection Workshop on YouTube. I'm laughing because if it ain't funny, I'm not playing. Simple as that. Well, we're outside the front of the Car Connection Workshop. Welcome, friends, to our YouTube channel, Niall Motormouth Jenkins. I am your host of Car Connection, and we're glad to have you with us. You're probably watching this at this point in time, nice and warm inside your home. It is a balmy 49 here today. That's Fahrenheit. I'll never talk to you in metric, because metric is the tool of the devil. That's what I think. So what we got going on here, this is a vehicle belongs to one of my neighbors, and I kind of take care of it and do some special things to it once in a while. Well, it has a fault code. Dun, dun, dun. So I've hooked up my OTC scan tool, gone in, had a look at it previously to today. The vehicle's here now. This is a 2018 Jeep Wrangler TJ, and it's the big old 3.6 liter literage monster of a motor. And P0128 is a pattern failure for a number of these model years. And that is, thermostat is too cold. That's the easy term. It's not within spec. So what it's showing me in the cooling system temperature sensor is showing me 185 degrees Fahrenheit. That's 10 degrees too low. All vehicles run at 195 degrees Fahrenheit, no matter how cold it is outside, whether the wind's coming down sideways with a wind chill factor or whatever. The engine has to stay at 195 degrees. You say, well, you know, Motormouth, that's only 10 degrees. I knew you'd say that, so I'm going to break it out for you. You're running 10 degrees Fahrenheit cooler. The computer's reading the temperature sensor. That's not the temperature sender. The temperature sender is the gauge or the idiot light for the cooling system in the dash. That is your display. The temperature sensor is the sensor that the computer is reading. So that's where it's getting its information from. So here's what the computer's saying. I'm going to put it into my own language. Okay, so the computer's looking at the thermostat going, 185, huh? You're supposed to be at 195 Fahrenheit. All right, the engine's not quite warmed up. Injectors, we need to open longer. We need to put more fuel into the engine because it's not up to normal operating temperature. What does that mean? But you've been driving it for an hour and it's still at 185. You've been adding more fuel to the engine to try and get it to warm up, but the thermostat's not working right. And the big deal on these, the 3.6 and this same fault code P0128, I was reading somewhere where a fellow with a fleet of them, he threw a P0128. He's very familiar with his Jeeps, and the thermostat slammed shut and overheated the engine. It began to overheat and he shut it off. So that's what you want to avoid. So in this particular case, it's warning you the thermostat is open too far, cooling the engine too much. It's better that it be open more than closed, because when it closes, it's going to overheat no matter what temperature it is outside. So getting back to the problem, if you don't pay heed to the P0128 and get it corrected, you're pouring a lot more fuel through the engine, washing the cylinders down with gas. Too much gas. and it ain't never going to warm up to 195 because the thermostat can't get you there. It's already at 185 and going, I'm done, that's all I'm giving you. So you got to get it out and you've got to replace it. Here's what it looks like. Got this off the Jungle website, saved a lot of money, and it is a genuine Mopar part. Not made in China or offshore Sri Lanka or whatever. It is a genuine Mopar part. Saved a lot of money. And it is a thermostat housing and a thermostat, and the gasket is built right in. So I'm going to hop to and get it done. And here's what I got to do to get there. I got to take this engine cover off. Wow, that just fell right off. And I got to take this air intake nozzle out, and then it's sitting right there. So just give me a couple of minutes and I'll open that up so we can have a look-see together, and then I'll get to and change it out. And I have to say that trying to get to the drain plug on the radiator on these Jeeps, it's a treat. I tried for like almost a half an hour to get it and get to it and then try and twist it out. And it doesn't feel like a happy camper, like it's going to come out without breaking. So I'm going to do what I call the sneaky Pete. I'm just going to pull the hose off the thermostat housing, get my drain bucket underneath and let it drain into the drain bucket. But we got to get this hose out of here. Do you really need it? I love that. People say that to me. Oh, you know, all that plastic. Is it for real? Like, do we really have to put that all back on? Yes. Yes, you do. And this thing is quite the apparatus, let me tell you. It's an amazing little gadget and gizmo when it's got this funky looking thing on the bottom of it, and it looks like the bottom, almost something like on the bottom of a sailboat, you know, the ballast. So we have to, I don't even need to really disconnect that. You can just kind of plop it up there if you like. Just don't break the wiring, you know. If you want, you could probably take that off, but I'm just going to be careful here and just lay that out of the way. It'll be just fine there. So here's where we're at, is right here. So let me get a light on it. We are right here. This is where we are. And so there's the upper radiator hose. So we're going to undo this clamp. We're going to slip that back, and then it's going to gush out of there. And then we got a 10 millimeter bolt down here where my finger is, 10 millimeter bolt in here, and the whole housing comes off. And I think that's pretty cool because, you know, plastic housings like this, they tend to warp and they tend to break. So I'll get to it, and then we'll bring you back in when I'm ready to put the new one back on, and we'll show you where we're at. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to get rid of this code P0128. We're going to refill it with some fresh coolant, and when I'm done, I'm going to run it up to temp. Then I'll go into the ECM with my OTC scan tool, and I'll make sure that the fault codes, they're called, the technical term for them are DTCs. In other words, fault codes. So I'm going to make sure that that P0128 gets erased from the memory of the computer, and that all the monitors reset when I'm done. And that'll be the cat's pajamas, as they say. So don't go away, stay with us. We'll be back in just a moment. And welcome back to the 2018 Jeep Wrangler TJ thermostat and housing. As I already mentioned in the first few minutes of the segment, it's a one piece. You get the housing, you get the thermostat and the gasket. I'm right down to taking it off, so if come on in here and have a look. Here's where we're at, right here where my fingers are. So this housing sits right here. There's your upper radiator hose. I really like the spring clamps, but I attack those with my needle nose vice grips, the spring clips, like this one right here. I grab those with my needle nose pliers and squeeze them and leave the pliers on there. That's my fix for taking care of those. I like those clamps. They're just tough to deal with. So I'm at the point where I'm ready to take the housing off, and I just wanted you to see that before I get into the next step, which is mounting the new one. It's literally just 2 bolts. It's not too bad a job. And here she comes. It's going to puke a little more, which is okay. Gurgle, gurgle, gurgle. So here it is. And the gasket, you can see, is it's completely flat. It's part of the housing. So oh, look, here you go. See that shiny? You see the shiny side here? And as I rotate it, it's not shiny over here. It's shiny here. Thermostat's been getting stuck. So this is called the wax pallet here. That responds to the heat. The wax expands, the spring expands, and it opens the valve here. You can see where it's been binding. So great idea. We're taking it out. And that's why I said if you're throwing a P0128, thermostat it's telling you thermostat is not operating properly. You need to get it out of there. Don't think it's going to self-heal. Don't think the problem's going to go away. This thermostat was probably just days away from sticking completely, and it may have stuck in the closed position, or it may have gone even to a more wide open condition, which would cause a drivability issue, because then you're going to dump all kinds of fuel. And it looks like this housing's been melting a bit, but this has been on there since the vehicle was born. So something you do not want to mess with. And I just want to also make mention is, when I got in the trade, automotive trade, it was a habit of changing thermostats every 2 years. And the reason being, they don't tell you when they're going to stick open all the way. They don't tell you when they're going to slam shut and not open and overheat the engine. And this little valve is continually opening, closing, partially open, partially closed, partially open, partially closed, to hold the coolant back in the engine, to allow the engine to heat the coolant, get it to 195, then the valve opens and allows it to circulate. So it's constantly opening and closing to maintain 195 degrees Fahrenheit no matter what the temperature is outside. A bazillion degrees on the black top in traffic, or minus 20 outside with wind chill. It's got a very big job to do, and I don't think many people understand that when this goes, this will blow an engine. Just like that. If it's July and this thermostat slams shut, it's going to go well over 225 Fahrenheit, which is boiling point of water, and it's going to put the engine into a super overheat condition. And I'll tell you right now, we have a segment coming up you won't want to miss. And that's going to be on our How Does It Work table. I'm going to show you the catastrophic damage that happens to a motor when you ignore the cooling system. It is not maintenance free. And I don't care who says the coolant is good forever. There's long life coolant out there. I wouldn't put it in my bicycle if it took antifreeze. It is the worst coolant out there you could put in your vehicle. It turns acidic. It eats head gaskets. It eats cylinder heads. It causes a lot of cooling system destruction. So we're going to show you that in a segment, all the pieces that cause the engine to explode, and it all comes down to an overheat situation. So I'm going to carry on with this. What I do want to tell you is that if you go in to replace this, make sure this entire gasket, none of it is on the block. So I'm going to make sure that deep down in the bowels here, where it came out, this surface is kind of rough. I'm not just going to go ahead and put my new thermostat housing with a new gasket laying on this roughness. I got to clean it off. It's got to be baby bum smooth. So you always want to make sure that the gasket came off and there's no pieces of it on there. But you can't just mount the thermostat housing on that surface. It's got to be cleaned off. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and I'm going to get new housing back on. And while I was in there I always do a little I spy when I'm on somebody's vehicle, and I saw a bolt sticking out. I may have to, there it is right there. It's right underneath this pulley. It's sticking out. And I gotta have another look at that because it's close to this pulley and it goes into the block, but why is it sticking out? So I gotta investigate that because it's wrong. It's absolutely wrong. A bolt sticking out almost about 1.5 inches, but I can't see it from here, but I saw it laying on my back and I can feel it now. It feels like it's almost all the way out. So we're gonna have to investigate that and see what that's all about. But take your time, do the job well, and double check yourself. Make sure you didn't miss something. Make sure you didn't leave a tool behind. Make sure you got all the fasteners refastened, things put back where they belong, because that's what I see a lot of. And that's just a typical circumstance. I always, as I'm working on something, I'm looking around. I do the I spy game to see if there's something out of sorts, something not right, something not put back well. And that bolt could be a catastrophe. So we'll see if we can take care of that. So we'll be back in a little bit. I'll get the thermostat housing all cleaned off on the engine, and then I'll be ready to put the new one on, and I'll get that in place. And when I do that, I'll get the hose on, and we'll be ready to refill the cooling system, and we'll bring you back for the rest of the segment on the 2018 Jeep Wrangler TJ P0128, thermostat code, temperature too cold, and we're going to take care of that for my Nabe. So bye for now. Well, thank you for stopping by the Car Connection Workshop right here on YouTube. Don't forget to come back and join us for another segment. So like, share, tag, and follow, and ding that bell so that you don't miss a single edition of Car Connection. So till next time, keep it under 100 and put the coffee on because we're coming to your house.